Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the Rock Solid Rundown. I am your host, Dr. Sam Zender, coming to you from Mequon, Wisconsin in the clinic, Rock Solid Physical Therapy and Performance. I'm a physical therapist and fitness expert and enthusiast, but also a husband, a father to two, almost three young children. Number 3 is actually overdue by a couple days, so sweetie, hope you're doing well at home. Phone is actually recording, so if you're texting me, I can't see it, but um, point is, fitness matters to me a lot in a lot of different capacities, not just professionally but also personally. And founded my practice a couple years ago with the mission of really optimizing people's health and wellness long term. Our current system obviously is not doing a fantastic job of that, and that's for a multitude of reasons. We're not going to get into it this first episode because that would steal the thunder of all the future episodes we hope to have. So I really just wanted to introduce the topic, maybe provide some background information on myself and the practice for this first episode. You can tell the set was actually professionally designed. James Cameron was just here a couple hours ago. We got some funding from Hollywood, so thank you all very much for your donations. And it's, I think, going very well so far. It looks great. But the point of all of this is to open up the opportunity for a little bit more in-depth conversation on the health and fitness space, and provide a more genuine approach to it, mixing in some humor, mixing in a little bit of lightheartedness, because I think that's important to have that human element versus being purely academic and purely uh, you know liturgical with all the information. Because I could certainly come up here and say, well, based on the recent evidence by Smith in 2022, and all of your eyes would just immediately sort of, if you're just listening to audio, my eyes are rolling back in my head, okay? That would be, or could be all of you. But what I'd like to do is make this a little bit more practical, a little bit more palatable, digestible, because we're all people, we're all humans trying to just live a healthier life. And I think our current system forgets about that, right? A lot of us are just patients, we're just numbers, or we feel like that. And that's really one of the main driving forces behind everything that we do here at Rock Solid. When I say we, I also want to include Dr. Bree Newmeyer, my pelvic floor therapist, and Dr. Eric Taves, my overhead athlete slash throwing specialist, all, both fantastic individuals and therapists. But we're all unified in that same mission, right? If you've gone through the healthcare system, really to any capacity, based on conversations and interactions I've had and other therapists have had, you probably have felt at some point that you weren't heard, you weren't regarded as a person with genuine concerns. Maybe you literally didn't have the time to actually express all of your concerns to your provider in whatever capacity that was. And you leave the appointment, or you leave, concurrent appointments, or go through an episode of care to any capacity, feeling like it's not helping, or you're not being regarded with unique needs and wants that you have. Now, I'm not going to get into necessarily all of the reasons why that is, because that's, again, for future episodes. I'm not here to blame systems as far as like specific, healthcare systems delivering healthcare. I'm not here to blame any profession. I'm not here to blame any individual. It's a very complex problem. What I will say, though, is that our current structure as it is, whether that be from the way insurance works, the way that large system healthcare works, the way that our political system works, it's not working, obviously, but it doesn't seem to incentivize much change. I mean, we've been saying this for how many years and decades, really, that, oh, we need change, and there's a chronic disease epidemic, and obesity is on the rise, blah, 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 and everybody acknowledges it. Everybody says it's there. Everybody points to fire, and yet it doesn't seem like anybody is really going to or wants to go grab a bucket of water and start doing anything about it, right? And certainly not in a unified manner. Now, on a small scale, I'll digress and say that yes, that certainly is the case. I'm not the only provider in this space that feels the way that I feel. Many of us do, and so I don't want to make it sound like your efforts, if you're also fighting this fight, are not being acknowledged. But what we need to do is, I think, adapt more at the cultural level, right, and make this more widespread? What are the things that are in our control, right? We can't necessarily force or flip a switch to have politicians or large healthcare systems change overnight. But there are plenty of things that we can look into ourselves internally and decide to make small decisions, whether that's related to your activity level, nutrition, the way you manage stress, way you manage relationships, and how you think about your pain. All of these things are in our control. And that's really what we try to promote here in the practice, and what I hope the podcast here facilitates is the understanding that there's a lot that is in our control. And certainly it can be frustrating and disheartening when we look and analyze everything that's not in our control, it's not going our way. And you might feel disheartened, you might feel like this is a completely useless battle, and we might as well just give up and all just be sheep in the system that just are born, we eat the American diet, we eventually get to a certain age where pain is chronic and constant, and we just, shake our fists and say, oh, shoot, that's just how it is. And then we live the last 30, 40 years of our life riddled with chronic disease and going through the system as if there's nothing else that we can do about it. And that, unfortunately, is the reality for a lot of people. I'm not here to make fun or to diminish. I'm very serious about my point here in that much of that is addressable and changeable. Now, being active and being fit and eating well does not guarantee that you will not develop pain or an injury. It does not guarantee that you will live forever, obviously, or that you will avoid chronic disease with 100% certainty. But certainly it can improve the chances that you will not experience those things. And even if living healthily might not sound like something that matters to you, I think money talks. Money talks for everybody, especially in this economy. And research is pretty clear, right? Your healthcare expenses, the healthcare burden as a system in a community, and also on a family, is significantly lower when you prioritize your health and your fitness and your nutrition and all of these things. So that's really what we hope the podcast turns into, is a very genuine, down to earth, practical approach to changes that we can make, or steps that we can continue if you're already on this fitness journey and trying to maximize your health. What are the easiest things that are in our control while we continue to fight the legislative battle and we continue to fight more of the on the political side of things? What are the small steps that are in our control that we can change, and that we can fix, so that we reduce the chronic disease burden and we reduce the chronic pain burden and reduce the chance of injuries or other limitations keeping us from being active. So thank you for watching. I hope you stick around for the journey that we'll go on. I told my wife a couple weeks ago that I was thinking about starting this podcast, and my beautiful bride, my sweet summer lily, the mother to my children, whom I love dearly, just a lovely family we started. I say this to her, and she says to me, I feel like it's just going to be you having a mental breakdown every episode. What would make you think that? Is it the fact that I put a pillow under my shirt for a Christmas TikTok to pretend to be Santa? Is it the fact that I put a towel on my hair to simulate a longer woman's hair? How about the fact that I'm talking to my phone in an empty room right now? Is that it? I don't think. I think she's maybe a bit misguided. Beautiful woman, very lovely, intelligent, occupational therapist as well. So we covered the rehab spectrum, but I think she may have missed the mark with that one a little bit. So, in any case, I digress. Again, thank you for your attention, and we hope to have you in the future.